Howdy, this is Bubba here. I have spent my monthly budget to bring in a special guest for this
expert
topic.
guest.
So so make sure you like and subscribe so the monthly budget will not go to waste. I'm going to do another video about Dollywood. As always, I'm going to keep these about 5 minutes. I want to get one in before the season opens. And this is a guy that that uses this area of the park more than I do, and that is the country fair. So talk a little bit about the history of the country fair, what it's good for, what it struggles at.
I think it's been around since the park practically opened in the 80s, and it is, for the longest, was kind of the only kids area. So, and now it kind of is the backup kids area because everybody that has a child practically runs to Wilderness Pass. So if you go there first, you can usually just walk on the bumper cars and everything for the first hour or two of the day and knock all that stuff out multiple times versus waiting in line. So that's a tip to do. But that's the good thing about it. The bad thing is that it has been around since the 80s, so a lot of it's old, wore out. There's a ton of unused space. If you, I guess we'll call it the old entrance starting this week, it'd be the old entrance where you went down the hill. The whole area to the right was practically unused. I mean, like there was barns and pavilions. They had some sort of indoor eating facility and stuff. I don't really know what they used it for.
They got the buffet in the one kind of covered area now, which that's kind of a recent thing.
But like before, so it's not very used. They had all these boardwalk and carnival games that were sort of almost in the way, which they have moved, thankfully. Yeah. And they have a labor shortage, but then they had somebody manning all those carnival games, which would seem like a real waste to me,
Yeah.
And I assume time you pay an employee, benefits and everything else, it wasn't cost effective to sell those things either. Because I mean, we always walk past them, but it does good where they took some things out. They struggles like there's no Ferris wheel anymore. Don't know why that, and they've took out the dizzy disc and several things like that. But there are a lot of things that my 5-6-year-old likes, and if you have a child that is old enough to set up, so I mean you're talking about 6 months on, you can ride some of the little duck games, and you have the families that have the kids where I rode this as a kid, and now my kid's riding it kind of thing, which is a nostalgic type thing.
The bumper cars is one of the highlights.
We like it, and we like the swings. As I've gotten older, the scrambler and the teacups are not as appealing as they used to be. I can ride them, but I mean they're not as appealing. The shooting star is a hit for my 5-year-old, 6-year-old, when it's a 6-year-old, but it's a 5-year-old. But that's a big one for kids.
Yeah.
Spooks a lot of kids. They have the elephant. It's elephant. The elephants, they have that, and the little airplane type thing. So.
Yeah, and but as far as what it struggles at, or did you?
It's kind of old and wore out, which we hope they are fixing come the 14th. So that's the struggle, is lots of wasted space, and it was really old and kind of run down.
And moving on to what's new, they're kind of vague about exactly what it's going to look like.
No splash pad.
But yeah, we know there's a splash pad coming, which I know is going to be hit.
That'll be hit for us. Yeah, we'll have 2 that can use it this time. But now, the barn was actually there last year. I mean, because I'm sure they're not taking that red barn type.
Yeah,
so they're decorating it different, moving it a little bit, and the carnival games are in the center as you walk down that hill to your left. That are in the center out there before you get to the rides are gone. They've been moved.
But yeah, it looks like, which I think we said in the live stream.
The barn there. So.
I think I was under the impression they've removed all carnival games except for 2, or maybe
the stuff on the sides.
Or like maybe the 2 are new and they've took out all the old ones. I think was how it looks like.
Yeah, they've definitely cut back on them, and I'm happy they had like a mini arcade there. There's some restrooms, which that's one thing that's true. There's a restroom that's kind of tucked in the corner back there. Yeah,
as you go down.
There is a new entrance. That's
I'm kind of anxious to see how the new entrance works.
It's a little more handicap and stroller friendly. The other one is straight downhill, so it was a little bit of a challenge. I mean, we always worked around it, but
there's also a frozen drink refill if you got the Diamond Cup. It's a really good place.
One of the few places for
that's one of the best, probably the best spot for the frozen drinks.
Yeah,
but
if you've got like a 1-year-old, 2-year-old that can ride stuff, but it's too short for everything else, this is sort of your go-to area other than the train. This is where you'll be hanging out.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm anxious to see. We don't really know for sure how much of this is going to be opening day. It would not surprise me if it was
splash pad isn't, but that's not relevant in it.
Yeah, like it wouldn't surprise me if this is the kind of thing that there's surprises when you get there. They've took stuff out for it's not ready and that kind of stuff.
We'd like it to add. There's a lot of room to be added there, or move it to Wilderness Pass or something like
And
that.
this is not going to be the end of this. They got the expansions, and from what I have been told, they are, when rides tear up, they're just not going to fix them. Was what the impression I was under. So
Everything's moving toward Wilderness Pass.
Yeah, so I think there's some bigger picture plans, but they've obviously going to give it a facelift.
It's a great place to avoid the crowds, though. But no, I've been there and waited 45 minutes to ride the Shooting Star, so it's not
100%.
No, but it is a good place to avoid the crowds. Because Wilderness Pass is going to be crowded no matter what. And the more they add there, the worse it's going to get.
Right. Yeah. So all right. Any other topics? We'll as far as like related to this.
I don't think so. They have good chicken tenders there. There's a place you can get chicken tenders there.
But yeah, we'll come back here and whenever I go to the park the next week or so, and
whenever he goes to the park,
and we'll share some videos and do an update on the live stream. Also, check out the live stream if you haven't already. It's still relevant.
Lots of good questions were asked.